Well, hey, we're going to be talking about teenage
Sorry.
anxious relief kit. I've got Dina here with me, and we've got a few people joining. Thank you so much for collaborating with me on this. This is like everything and more, everything that I would have wanted for myself, and things I want to share with kids now so that they don't have to go through, what most people do. So anyway, go ahead, Dina, do you want to share?
Yeah. I love, I've been working with Kim for the past 12 years, and lately we've been putting together a lot of amazing content just to really help our community and the people that we love and care about most. And then even, sometimes there's just such a big struggle out there, especially with emotional stuff and teens, and they're just always going through it. And so Kim has an amazing story of her teenage years. And so we were talking about that, and that's how this whole amazing class got birthed. So my background is in nursing, and I currently work as a functional holistic nurse. I help people find their food sensitivities, deficiencies, and toxicities. And I have 12 years experience with essential oils. That is all we use in our home. We have not had to use medications in our home for the past 12 years. So I'm very blessed to have been introduced to essential oils by Kim and another friend. And so it's been an amazing journey for us. So thank you so much for introducing me, Kim. And I'd love for you to share your background a little bit as well.
Sure, yeah. So I grew up in a home where we ate like McDonald's and Burger King and donuts, and I didn't know how to eat. My mom didn't know how to eat. And so nobody could poop because nobody was eating right. So my mom ended up taking us to a wellness center where they did colonics, colon hydrotherapy. And then I was like, wow, that's amazing. They started talking about, the types of foods to start eating. And then I got into massage school right after high school. I was always my mom's little massage therapist. So that's where I felt the most comfortable in my skills. So I went from massage to colon hydrotherapy, and it kind of just grew my love for natural health. And so now I'm a recovery wellness coach. So I help people going through addiction and codependency, and teaching them how to feel their feelings safely, what their emotions mean. And in the summertime, I float people in warm water and help them release trauma. So it's my favorite. So why we use oils. So as far as my story, well, like what we were just talking about, I came from a perfectionistic home. I'm the daughter of, I'm the youngest of 3 daughters. And so I ended up with an eating disorder from 11 to 17. My parents had great insurance, so I was put on every kind of med you can think of. They told me I was bipolar. They said I had chronic depression along with Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid thing, anxiety disorder. They said that my body would not heal itself, that it wasn't made correctly, and that I needed outside help to get my body to work. Which was very disempowering and upsetting. So when I started working as a massage therapist at the colon hydrotherapy clinic, I was only 19, and I was just surrounded by these loving, caring women that they're like, wow, like you could eat these foods and you can eat as much as you want and get full. I'm like, I don't have to eat 2 quarter pounders with cheese. They're like, no, you can have smoothies, you can have all this whole food, and then you're gonna get full and have natural, anyway. So I got off all the meds. They were able to help me get my liver enzymes down. I retested my thyroid, no Hashimoto's. So years down the line, I'm starting to see changes in my body. But as I'm working at this colonic wellness center, we've got all these experts coming in, iridologists and doctor, like alternative medicine doctors from Mexico, helping these people with autoimmune and cellular stuff. So I see somebody come in a wheelchair that looks all gray. They look like they're going to die. And then they work with us for a couple of months and they're like normal. Like you would never know that they were in a wheelchair on their deathbed. So it just grew and grew and grew my belief that people can heal themselves. Let food be thy medicine. And then years later, I learned about plants and essential oils. So like, all the herbs we had on the shelf, that's kind of like the dead body. And then the essential oil is the life's blood. So it's 50 to 70 times stronger than the herb because it's so highly concentrated. So it's important to know how to use them. It's important to know which company to use. Obviously, doTERRA, we're kind of like the Disney of essential oils. We've got the money to do the funding. We've got the funding for the testing. That's what I mean. Like universities, all of the different, how expensive it is to get those studies done. We got it. We're going to make sure that this is safe for human and animal consumption. And then now they're getting it into the medical field where some of it's being covered by insurance and covered by FSA and HSA cards. It's like the cards that people get when they're working for the city or like a teacher or a nurse, that kind of thing. So we've moved from being like an essential oil company to now like bridging with allopathic medicine. So I think that's really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are considered a health and wellness company, not an essential oil company anymore. So it's pretty nice. We're putting up health clinics all over the United States. So yeah, it's been so amazing to watch how much we have been able to help other people, like so many people. So great. So essential oils work really fast. Like Kim said, they work within 30 seconds. So they bypass digestion. They are 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs. So we think about Chinese medicine, like in the whole functional medicine realm of things, we do a lot of herbal things. We utilize a lot of food as medicine. But when we get something that's 50 to 70 times more potent and powerful than that plant base, that's even more amazing. And it works within 30 seconds, even more amazing. So that's how we've been able to not have to use medications in our home for the last 12 years. So it's been absolutely wonderful. So you want to tell them about the adaptive system, because this is one of our favorite go-tos for mood and overall stress relief.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, between, in my teenage years, I was on like a lot of different things for anxiety and depression and mood balancers. So I wish that I had this. This came out like what, 2 or 3 years ago, this
Yeah.
line. So the oil blend specifically is made for calming strong emotion and helping your nervous system go from fight or flight back to rest and digest. So think of the times when you were younger or when your teen is not really like that, you can see the look on their face that they're freaking out. They're not in the present moment at all. They're in the thinking of where they were when something happened that upset them, or it might be happening right now. So in order to help them get right back inside their body, they're going to take that blend. You can rub it in your hand. So the roller is really handy to have like on the go. They can keep it in their pocket or their backpack and then rub it in their hand and go like this. So when you just do this, even if you don't have essential oils in your hand, and just notice what happens. So you can't think about the past. You can't think about the present or the future. You're in the present. You're in your body. You're right here, right now. When somebody's in a traumatic response, what professionals will do is they'll ask the person, what time is it? What's your name? Because they're trying to get them to right back here. And then you breathe it in. So now what we've done is we've activated the molecules. We've got the blood flowing in your hands so that now we can draw their energy back to themselves. That a specific blend is now crossing the blood-brain barrier and balancing and helping to get those cortisol levels and adrenaline levels back down and get the serotonin back up so that the person can go, okay, like I'm okay, like I'm back, and then we can go into communication skills and grounding. The capsule, so the 10 ml bottle is just it's the same as the 15 ml. except it's just diluted and to be more like handy on the go. The 15 mil we can use like in our diffuser, we can use it in our bath, we can use it to refill our 10 mil. And then the calming capsule blends, that is like, like amazing stuff. So I take that at night. I take 2 at night. If I'm going through a rough time, I'll start taking it more regular, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. It's got GABA and gamma. It's got sclerotium, which is this specific ingredient that helps to activate the rest of the essential oils so that we can get, like we want it to build up in your system so that we can get like that lasting relief for stress resilience and brain resilience. Oh, you're on mute.
So wild orange is going to be one of the things that you're going to want in your diffuser for mood lifting and stress relief. There's tons of studies done on the effects of citrus in general and how they lift mood. I even had a good friend of mine, she suffered from depression, and she was a nurse as well. And she would say, oh my gosh, I have to have my orange at lunchtime. Just the smell of the orange helps to lift me up. So imagine having this essential oil to have that 50 to 70 times more potent effect. It also helps the brain build that stress resilience as well. Now, if you have a teenager that's a little not so on board with utilizing the essential oils, my suggestion is to diffuse them because they have to breathe. And if it's in the vicinity of the area, it's a great way to get the oils on board for them to calm their mood. We've utilized this so many different ways in our home, in our friends' homes, and people that we're trying to help's homes, that maybe they had a teenager that was going through a lot of stuff and was so depressed, or so their mood was so low that they wouldn't even get out of bed or take a shower or brush their teeth. But when mom started diffusing in the room, all of a sudden they were a little less love a low mood. They were having less anxiousness. And then it just kind of builds from there, where they start, each day is like a gradual, increase of how they feel. And so diffusing is such an amazing tool to have in your toolbox as a parent.
Well, do you remember that study? Go back to Wild Orange. Dr. Danielle Daniels, she did a study at the University of San Diego for children with psychosis. So having the episodes between the ages of 11 and 13. And she started diffusing wild orange in her therapy sessions. And the kids would just naturally kind of gravitate toward the diffuser, and they would kind of they'd even grab the diffuser and just let it go in their face and just breathe it, just like I was doing right now. Wild orange is so recognizable and connectable that when I've handed it to my kids, they don't hand it back right away. They sit there and go, because it works so good in the brain. So those kids, 11 to 13, they were getting them off their meds because it was
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So if you would like a handout, the PDF handout to follow along with this course that we're doing today, you can actually scan this barcode with this what do they call it? A QC code? QR code, and download it.
You're amazing, Dina.
Oh, thanks. Those are pretty handy. These are pretty cool. And it's I think 5 pages that we have for you. So lots of good information here. So teenage toolkit, another essential oil to have in the toolkit is going to be Siberian fir. This is such an amazing anxious reliever. I like to use it for discomfort relief as well, but it also helps to calm and soothe. Now you can pair it with the wild orange as well and put it in the diffuser, or you can just take a couple of drops of the Siberian fir, rub that over the chest with a little bit of coconut oil, or you can add it to the doTERRA lotion, which has no scent. So you can put anything you want with it, which is really nice. So you can make your own blends of different types of lotion.
I like when I'll have like a class at my house and I have the empty rollers and I'll put out like, a handful of oils that I'm fine with people playing with. I'm not going to put rows out, but I'll put little recipe cards. And I would like to start doing that with having kids connect and make their own roller. Cause I have had, kids do that and I think they really love it.
Yeah.
But I've talked to many people that have used Siberian fir and gotten great relief from it. So like using it on your wrist. Like have you ever heard of what's it called? It's a therapy where you snap the rubber band.
Yeah,
So
it's
you're
like
trying there's
like
a
a reorientation of some sort.
yeah,
Like
there's a
come
word
back.
for it. I can't think
Mhm.
of it. Anyway, so I don't like that actually. I remember going through therapy and being in rehabs and they're like, just snap a rubber band. To me, it reminded me of like Catholic, like the people like whipping themselves, because it hurts. So like I'm going to cause myself pain for feeling a feeling that doesn't resonate with me. So
Mhm.
what I would share with somebody is to just use the essential oil to breathe in that moment so you can change that neural pathway instead of using pain. You know what I mean? So I'm not down with that method.
Never been a fan of that either.
Yeah, wait, let the dog in. This is my tiny dog that has to be with me at all times. Okay, so lavender. Lavender is amazing. So if somebody is like having like a moment, they're like really struggling, I would even call it like a panic attack. So you can put 4 drops of this lavender in water and drink it, or you can put it in an empty capsule. You can use it at bedtime for sleep. Well, if I would have known this, I had such a hard time sleeping when I was a teenager. I always felt like there was something that was going to get me, which sounds crazy. But because I'm a very sensitive person, and I watched a lot of scary movies as a kid, this would have been really nice to help get my nervous system back down. So, oh my gosh, I'm like crazy for Supermint. It just came out in September. We were able to get it for convention, and that's like our normal, like when we get all the new stuff. But people were able to get it just like in January. It's 6 different kinds of mint, like the super of all the things it can do. So kids, like all their emotions that happen, and then obviously it's going to turn into like a physical thing. So they have no excuse now. They can use it for tests. They can use it for energy. They can use it for headaches, stomach aches, breath freshener. We know how it is. They're going to have the best freaking breath ever. But like, it's so
Yes.
nice to have tools like that, like, so that you know that you can take care of yourself. You don't have to, like, you're getting to an age, a teenager, where they need to feel like, their autonomy and knowing
Empowered.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
like, oh, I have something that will help me, like, because they're learning, like separating themselves from their parents.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my kids, I think what Jordan was probably 11 when I started doTERRA, and she like they don't even know how to even use anything, but it's so empowering, and they can teach classes, they know about essential oils, it's their go-to. I love that they have safe tools to be able to soothe whatever it is that they need help with. So it's absolutely just so empowering for them too. Deep Blue Stick. This is so wonderful. They've revamped it, made it into like a stick, and they added the copaiba to it, which is phenomenal. Wonderful for girls who have menstrual cramps.
Mhm.
If they've gotten some growing pains, if they're athletic, do they play sports? Wonderful for muscle recovery as well. You can use it topically on location. And this is also even great over the bridge of the nose for things that are like sinus related, over the forehead for sinus stuff. And then also if they get like a little bit of some chest congestion, great for over the chest to kind of, how like when you cough and your muscles are getting all sore from the coughing and the, or even vomiting, you retch, and then those muscles that you're really not used to squeezing and tightening so much, they get really, really sore from all that. This is so great for that too. And we even use it over the neck for sore throats too. So just such an amazing thing to have on hand anywhere you go, and it travels well.
Yeah, I mean, I like having the rub, the tube. Well, actually, I have like the giant one right here, the ketchup on a stick one, or hot dog on a stick. But the cream is nice to have at home because then you can get more of a surface area. But the stick is good when you're out because then you don't have to get it on your hands. So for like if the kids are playing sports, then they don't have to have it on their hands. And what if they wipe their eye with sweat and then they get deep blue in their eye, So the stick is better for traveling.
Yeah, not a good time with it in your eye.
Oh yeah. Tea tree for everything. I literally go through a bottle of tea tree a month. I put it in my hair to prevent dandruff. I use it in my armpits before I put deodorant on. So it makes that so that I don't have to reapply. You can put it on ingrown hairs. You can put it on acne. And then that way they don't have to pop the pimple. The pimple just goes away. Like you see one starting and you put the tea tree and it just goes away. So I just like using it when I get out of the shower, and I'll put it on my scalp and then I put it in the armpits. Just makes everything better. Love tea tree. So digestion. So like I mentioned with me as a teenager, because I ate like crap, so I couldn't poop and I would be bloated all the time and uncomfortable. So like if they can take capsules, I would have them do the digestion every day. I think that'd be great for every teenager just to help like keep things moving, And then the digestion oil, you can take it, drop in your hand and just rub it on your tummy. But it's good to have around, especially if you've got anxious feelings. A lot of times people experience it in their guts, so you can avoid, having like that whole uncomfortable experience. And also empowering them, like we said, we want them to have tools to feel like they can take care of themselves, and then they're not going to hold on maybe so much to that victim mentality like I did, because that's like, I need other people to make me feel better. Nope, they can take care of themselves.
Yeah. Rosemary. So rosemary is wonderful for any kind of like yeast overgrowth, but also too if they're test taking, because it helps with memory and focus. So great to diffuse, but then also if they have any kind of menstrual cycle issues or maybe even a yeast infection, you could put this on a peri pad, or if they use tampons, you can put it on a chlorine-free tampon as well, and then put that in overnight, and that helps to cut that yeast overgrowth as well. And you can repeat that for 3 to 7 days, and that's a great way to get that under control. Bladder as well, so any kind of overgrowth of any kind of yeast or bacteria, it's a wonderful tool to help your body fight that off naturally.
And this one, I really love using the shower for stress relief. I'll just drop a couple of drops on the shower floor when I shower. It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So another thing, teenagers are usually very self-conscious, and there's always like things that they want to change about their hair, their skin, whatever. This is great to add to their mascara if they do wear mascara. Because it helps the lashes grow and stay long and thick. If they're getting any kind of like hair loss, or some teens, they get really stressed out and they sometimes will lose hair, it's a great tool to have to add to their shampoo, or just to massage into the scalp with the tea tree oil as well, to cut down on any of the dandruff, but then also to promote more hair growth too.
Yeah, I screwed up my hair so much as a teen. I would have been all over anything that made my hair grow.
Yeah, it was like the more damage, the better, right? when you're young, and then you get older and you're like, what was I thinking? But
well, all those meds I was on, my hair would
yeah.
grow like super weirdly wiry. So it was like, I don't know, it would break off and it was awful.
Oh, terrible. So lemongrass is another great one for bladder support as well. You can do 2 or 3 drops on the lower abdomen with the fractionated coconut oil or your doTERRA lotion. And you can also add a drop to warm water. Drink it like a tea. You can do that a couple times a day until your symptoms are gone. This one's just very, very powerful for helping to cleanse the body of whatever doesn't belong as well.
Yeah, and if they drink it, you should put some chapstick on first because it's spicy.
Yeah. It is. I remember I first got lemongrass. I was adding it to my arsenal, and I remember the first thing I did was taste it, and I was like, oh, I was at a baseball game. It's like I feel like I can breathe fire right now. It was hot. But
It
there's
tastes
no bad
really
breath.
good in Roman chamomile tea. Yeah, I like it in there.
Very cool. So for females, the survival tools for cramps, this is Clary Calm and Deep Blue together. You would roll the Clary over the lower abdomen where you tend to have the crampy feel, and then put that Deep Blue stick over it. And you can just kind of massage that either into the lower abdomen, or you can do in the lower back as well, or you can do both. And you could do that as often as needed. As soon as those cramps start to kind of creep back up and come back, that's when I go ahead and reapply. And then it's like game over. After 2 or 3 times, it's like they're gone. So nice.
The Clary Calm is good for the boobs too. Like if you tend to get those like lumps that come on your period. I have friends that have put it all over the boobs and it gets rid of it.
Yeah, that's an estrogen dominant thing. Very interesting.
Okay, so basil's like my BFF. So, I mean, it helps with pain, it balances hormones, it brings focus. It's amazing for anxious feelings, for getting that nervous system to calm down. So I just take a drop in my hands, I breathe it in. I did like what I showed you with this. For adrenal fatigue, like if you've overdone it and you're just exhausted, you can take a couple drops with some coconut oil and rub it on your mid back, because that's where your kidneys or your adrenals are at. You can put it on your belly to balance your hormones. I know like a lot of, like in my day, they would put you on birth control, like first things first, just to get your skin and everything balanced. But it didn't feel like it was support. It was a really good thing for me, because it made me depressed and it made me angry for some reason. So, which Dina could probably explain why. But I would think that using the basil and using the Clary Calm would help with that hormonal acne, like the periods that are too heavy. So instead I would go with the Clary Calm and with this. What do you think of that, Dina?
I love that idea. There's so many different amazing combinations that's the wonderful thing that I love about essential oils is you can't mess it up. There's no wrong oil. You're going to get some sort of benefit from everything that you even try or use. And sometimes it does take a little bit of tweaking to find what works really well for you. Like for me, there's tons of different pain oils that we have to help reduce discomfort. Basil is our go-to in our family. It helps. We've had wisdom teeth extractions and used basil. We've recovered from surgery with basil. And the doctors are like baffled at how we're not taking any pain meds, and they're just like, how the heck are you doing it? And it's like, well, I'm using basil, and it's such a great pain relief for us. So it is my number one go-to. It really is.
What do you think of, when girls get put on birth control at a young age for their acne and heavy periods?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that we can try first. And I was at a seminar where the girl that was teaching, she had been in the holistic realm of things I've attended tons of seminars and functional medicine studies and stuff, met tons of people. And she said, don't you think it's odd, out of all the medications that we prescribe, that the pill is called the pill? And And I thought about it for a minute and I was like, she's right. And then she went into how it works on the pineal gland and it dulls the intuition. And I was like, oh, so you then turn off that intuition or it dulls it, and then you're not so in tune with your higher power. You're not so in tune with other people. It dulls down your senses and your ability to connect and be intuitive. That's that's a lot. Like if there's ways that we can address those things naturally, why not go that route first? And then, if you have to go the other route, then, then maybe you do. But at least let's try some stuff first, right?
Yeah, I just wonder how much that affected me, like because I think I was put on it at like 14. And like things didn't go well from there.
No. And you did have a stint of infertility for a while, right?
Yeah, and I mean, emotionally, I think because there's a huge gap of time, kind of like zombie time,
Mhm.
So I want people to know that there's an alternative.
There is an alternative. Yes, absolutely. And here's one of them.
Here's one of them, man. Instead of getting on the pill, screwing up your hormones and cutting you off from God, then we can just use some natural tools for bacterial and this amazing black cumin seed. Dean and I were Googling it today, seeing all the different things that it does. But I mean, I use it all over the world for different things, like for gut health and skin and brain. So specifically this blend, though, we looked it up in the Aroma Tools book, or the Essential Emotions book. That's this one here. There's an app for this too. So if you want to look at it right away, just download the Essential Emotions app. But for HT Clear, it's for accepting imperfections. It's for supporting those struggling with anger and self-judgment, supports individuals by increasing self-acceptance and self-love, encourages the healthy release and expression of feelings of anger. So I was feeling a little bit pissed off right before this class. And I was like, it's a good time for this HT Clear, this specific blend here. Let me tell you what's in it. Black cumin, hoe wood, tea tree, Litsea, eucalyptus, and geranium. So all hormone balancers and all really good for clearing up skin stuff. So, but then, of course, because they're all these powerful oils that do these millions of things, because we're breathing it in, it's working on our brain again. And that's why we get this healthy emotional processing response that we're talking about. So you can use it on back knee, you can use it on your chest, on your face. But yeah, I diluted mine down so I could use it as perfume because I like the smell. Oh, and then they make the face wash too and the lotion. So like it's a whole like system for skincare.
Yes, amazing. It works so well.
Okay, so part of what I wanted to share, like with a teenage survival kit is communication and learning how to communicate, because I think that most family units don't teach that. They don't know how because their parents didn't know how. So they're just doing the best they can. So we can heal this generation by teaching them how to talk, really. So instead of locking down their feelings inside their body and reacting without a healthy response. So we can look at things like this. Look, you can see the I feel column. Did I do something wrong that hurt my feelings? That felt like an insult. I feel blamed. I feel criticized. Sounds like it's all my fault. I'm getting worried. Please don't withdraw. I need to calm down. Can you make things safer for me? I need things to be calmer right now. Just listen to me right now and try to listen. Try to understand. Tell me you love me. Can I have a kiss? Can I take that back? Please be gentler with me. So this really sweet, right? It's really sweet. Different ways to say sorry. A lot of people don't know how to say sorry. So I think that's super important, So I had to learn this just in the past like 3-4 years. My marriage almost fell apart. And we don't need everybody to have to get to that extreme. And plus, like my kids are just now getting this information from me. I wish that I was able to start from the beginning this way. So we can get these teens to learn this now, or even just plant a seed. Just planting seeds, right? Because you can only, bring a horse to water. You can't make them drink. But just keep exposing them to stuff, to healthy communication and holistic tools for coping. Because look what's happening in this world, like with the opioid epidemic and addiction. And we just want people to see like there's another way, and it's actually like it works faster than drugs. Wouldn't you want something that works faster? And I'm talking hard drugs. I'm not talking just regular. So
yeah, and it's way safer, and you have to end up processing these anyway and learning how to do this at some point, right?
Or not, and then they just die.
Well, and that's the thing, like, you end up one extreme to the other. It's like this one's way less toxic.
Go to the next one. I really like this. It's just like more ways to communicate, So if you need a moment, these are stop actions. So like if it's a heated conversation or argument, then you can use these stop actions, So a lot of times like people don't realize like they need to take a break and then come back. And then ways to appreciate somebody. I think these are just nice to have pictures of for people like that don't know. They really just, a lot of times people just asking me, but what should I say? Like they don't know what to say. They've never seen examples like this before.
Wow.
I hadn't seen examples like this before. I don't have a degree in psychology.
Yeah.
Even psychologists. So something that's been brought to my attention recently, psychologists are not taught about feelings. They're not taught about feelings. They're taught to ask questions and to process, but they're not actually taught what the feelings are.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I really appreciate Carla McClellan, because she talks about, which we'll see later in the slides here, because she tells you the action steps for your emotions. So this is just an example of like what we were just doing if you needed to break it down. So, I feel when, and this is the behavior or the pattern, and I need. So you're looking, how do you say how you feel when this event or behavior happens? And then how do you get across what your needs are, or what are your boundaries? So if you're having a strong emotion like anger, there's soft, medium, and hard anger. So say it's like, something that happened and it's hard anger. That means that you really, 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 really care about that topic because you value it. That's what pissed you off about it. So if people were to learn what that thing is, so maybe it's like the house isn't clean, so they value cleanliness, and that means that they're not communicating with the people around them to help out. So they would need to really state that how to get their needs met and what are the boundaries, So, but if kids were to learn this, it would be really great. So, because they're taught, like I was taught not to have any feelings. Any feelings at all was disrespectful. Because yeah. So I've just noticed that. Any feelings at all was disrespectful.
And when you have a lot of feelings for someone who is a feeler, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. They're like, I don't want to deal with it right now. So you need to go away. My family would send me away. They're like, you need to go to your room to have these feelings. And then I'm like, I'm going to bottle them up in my body and never poop again.
Yeah. That doesn't work so great.
Didn't work out for me.
No. Oh my word.
It's funny, huh?
Yeah. So you can feel your feelings.
Yeah. So this is a really great way so that you can learn how to experience your feelings safely. So once I learned that there were no negative emotions, so there just aren't any. So what you were taught, whatever all we were all taught, this whole side of the wheel that said these were bad and these are good, that's not true. They all have meaning and purpose in your life, and you need your full spectrum of emotions. So what we can do. So this is a something called Tonglen meditation. It's the art of experiencing. So to set the stage for it, you're going to choose an essential oil. So like right now, I've got lavender right in front of me. So I'm going to take a drop in my hand. I'm going to rub it together. I'm going to ground myself. I'm going to make sure my feet are flat. My sit bones are solid underneath me. And breathe in. I'm going to connect with my higher power, the universe, whatever your God is. Just has to be bigger than you. And breathe. So just imagine something that you had a strong feeling about. So just before we got on, I had a disagreement with my husband. So if I were to think about that situation, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in more of that feeling. So I'm going to pinpoint it. I'm going to say it's frustration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in more of that frustration. And then exhale compassion for myself. And now I'm going to make that bubble bigger. So I'm going to imagine the people in my neighborhood that are also feeling frustrated. I'm going to breathe in their feelings. And then exhale compassion for them. Make the bubble bigger. All the people in the city feeling the same way you're feeling. Breathe it in. And then exhale compassion. And you keep making that bubble bigger until you notice a change. I think it's really amazing that because I was taught to be afraid of my feelings. So if I'm breathing in more, I'm bringing in more on purpose. Then I'm teaching my subconscious that these big feelings will not kill me and that they won't last forever and that I can have compassion for the people around me. The woman that wrote this, her name is Joan Halifax, and she actually teaches this practice for end of life care. And it's the practice of great mercy. If you would like to listen to some of her guided meditations, we can give you that video. She's really sweet, and I think it's really interesting the way that she words things, and it's so caring and understanding. But we can use this practice. I like to invite my higher power to feel the feelings with me, use my essential oil to calm my nervous system, and then do the practice. Because that way, like I've got God with me and I'm grounded and safe. There's that. So we just went through that. That's with the oils. Here's go forward to the emotions. So here's some of the things we were talking about, like the gifts of these strong emotions, the gifts of anger, honor, conviction, healthy self-esteem, proper boundaries, healthy detachment, protection of yourself and others. These are some journaling questions. What do I value? What must be protected and restored? That's the stuff that you want to communicate. The adaptive blend is so good. So you can use it for anxious feelings. The gifts of anxiety is foresight, focus, task completion. It's your procrastination alert system. So anxiety and panic are two different things. So when people can learn how to distinguish between the two, panic is where we need to have like some intervention tools to help get your nervous system back down and get back in the present, because that means that you've left the building. You've left your body. And now like it's just the shaking leaf left behind. Anxiety is a lower grade of panic, but it's actually just to help you get stuff done. That's what it's for. It's so that you don't die when you're driving, because you need anxiety so that you stay focused. And it's so that you'll get your stuff done. So if you need to figure out like which one am I feeling? If you can still like be cognizant of what's going on around you, then it's probably anxiety, and you need to see like what can I do about it right now? What I need to get my tasks done. Magnolia, all the gifts of happiness. Okay, so with this is a really great beginner oil for kids. Magnolia smells so yummy, and vanilla too. Rose is really yummy. So this is really helpful. Like if something has happened in the family, you know, like somebody passed away, their dog passed away, or like they didn't get into college, the one they wanted. All a whole plethora of things, you know, like their best friend is not talking to them. These are just really great ways to, like, I was listening to the Cranberries the other day and I was like, oh my God, it's so heart clenching, you know. And I remembered like how hurt I had felt in my life, you know, at a younger age. Like I would have loved to have had Rose to just comfort that inner child and feel and get some relief from that grief, you know, to be able to just cry and let it go. Like, you know, like when a boyfriend breaks up with you and he's really hot. Anyway, I'm just being silly now. So I love these calming phrases. So this is something that people can use as a mantra when they're breathing. I am safe, or I'm on the inhale, it's right here. On the exhale, right now. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. That's a really great one for panic. I'm connected and comfortable in my environment. I trust God, the universe, to provide for what I need. One that I really like using when I start my meditation and my prayer, when I inhale, I think to myself, God approaches. Exhale, I find myself. God approaches, find myself. That's my inhale, exhale. So those are some nice ones for imagery. There's a lot of good deals right now. So if you're wanting to get some oils and you don't have an account, you get the Digestion soft gels, the 15 ml of the oils. You get fennel, which is freaking delicious. It's like a natural sweetener. Have you ever used it like for a sweetener?
Yeah.
For fennel?
Yeah.
And fennel?
Yeah. It's got that licoricey taste to it. But it has that sweetness to it. It's really yummy with cassia. I don't know if you've tried them together, because they're both kind of sweet but hot. Yeah.
I've used it on my animals, Digestion and fennel, for like, you know, digestive stuff. I dilute it, but I put it on their tummy, like if they've had like diarrhea or gas. But fennel is amazing for gas. It's indigested. Yeah. I can think of many times when I was a teenager and I had embarrassing gas. I remember I ran out of my sister's room because she had all her friends over and I was trying not to fart in front of them. But then I tripped and fell and farted anyway.
That's so funny.
I know, it was really funny.
Oops, slipped.
Yeah, and it probably made it way louder. Like I could have got away with it.
Scared the fart right out of you. That's funny.
And then that yarrow is so good for your skin.
Yeah.
So the main thing is that if you don't have an account, you can get the Digestions, the bottom left corner, you get the adaptive, and you get a diffuser for a 200 PV order.
Yeah, and there's a code that you're going to need from Kim to get that. So get in contact with Kim. And her number is on the beginning of this slideshow, the slide deck. So definitely get with her so that you can get those extra bonus items. Yeah, and they get 125 PV points. So it's like free piggy bank oils. Yeah, so cool. And if you did not get the PDF download, you can download it here. So awesome you did that, Dina. Thank you. My pleasure. And there is your contact information as well,
Perfect.
just in case you need that code. Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
I think we do digestive something.
Yeah. So we're keeping this going for people that want to stay on board. Wednesday, 7 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Central. Thank you so much for doing this with me, Dina.
My pleasure. It's always a fun time. And I love getting the word out, and I cannot find my list. So we'll have to update you on what that is. But yeah, well, good on what's next week.
Awesome.
It's always fun. Thank you. You do such an amazing job at this, though. Yay!
Me too.